What does that even mean, Bowers game?
Hi there, YouTube. I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited checking out Outer Earth from Mailbox Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 plus. It'll take you about 60 minutes to play, and in Outer Earth, you are going to be building planets, putting developments on them, trying to get superstructures on your planet. In this, I really don't even know what kind of game you would call this. In this planet building game. Plays differently from most other things I've played, but is that a good thing? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think about it. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Outer Earth. First and foremost, we got a handy dandy rule booklet. It's 14 pages, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. It's very well done and it should have you up and running in no time at all. So big thumbs up on the rule booklet. So in Outer Earth, what are you going to be doing? Well, you are going to be building different planets. The planets are going to look like this. These planets are going to give you victory points at the end of the game, and they're also going to allow you to enhance your dice down here. And these are the actions you're going to be able to take on your turn. So we'll go over the components, and then we'll get a little bit into the gameplay. So component-wise, you're going to have your area right down here. This is a very important area. This is where you're going to be building planets on this side. This is where you're going to sell your planets over here. And then down here is where you're going to be putting your development cards, which will give you victory points at the end of the game. Or you might be putting planets down here, which is actually going to lose you victory points at the end of the game. But we'll get more into that later. When you first start the game, you're going to have a 1, and a 1. So that means on your turn, you're going to be able to do 3 actions. You're always going to be able to do 3 actions. You're going to be able to draw 1 card. You're going to build 1 development onto your planet, and then you're going to be able to sell 1 planet if possible. So that's what you need to know down here. Let's go up here. So next you're going to have planets, and they will be a X amount of planets depending on how many players there are in the game. Likewise, you're also going to have superstructures over here. These are ways you're going to be able to gain bonus points and also bonus upgrades throughout the game. And these are also 2 of the ways that the game end can trigger. So if you ever run out of planets, or if you ever run out of, I believe it's 2 of the structure piles, then that triggers that the next round of the game will be the last round of the game. Last, we got a big old pile of development cards over here, which we'll get into in a second. And then the turn order track right here. The game has a little bit of an interesting turn order track, as there will actually be 2 phases. And so if you go on the 1 spot, you will get to do 1 phase first and the other phase last. So when you don't necessarily bid for first for number 1 on the turn order track, you might want to go last, you might want to go in the middle. Interesting little mechanism there. So let's go over how the game is played. So when you first started out, you are going to start with 4 development cards. You're going to be starting with your 1, 1, 1. Then you're also going to have these 2 paddles right here. These are going to be your bidding paddles. And the first thing you're going to do is you are going to decide if you want to bid on turn order. So each player is going to pick one of their paddles. Either yes, they want to bid, or no, they do not want to bid. You will place it out. Everyone will place theirs out at the same time, and then you will reveal. If you chose a green card, then you are going to have to pay a development card as per the bet. The bid. If you picked a red tile, or one of the red X, I should say, then you are not going to have to pay anything. All the players who put out a green check mark are going to rinse, wash, and repeat. They're going to do that until no one has a green check mark out except for 1 person. Or potentially nobody can do it, and then you will have a roll-off to see who's going to decide turn order first. So then you're going to decide the turn order, and you're going to put them up here. So let's just say we got a 2-player game, because that's what we got set up, between green and yellow. And the numbers on the dice don't really matter up here, but now we know green is going to go first. So this means they get to pick the first planet. To purchase a planet, all you have to do is pay 1 development card, just put it in the discard pile, and then you get to take whichever planet is out there. So what is the difference between the planets? Well, first thing you're going to notice is that they're going to have different colors where you can start from. And the more colors there are on there, the easier they're going to be to start. Also, you might notice that there's some modifiers right here. These are what are called temporary dice modifiers, which means when you finally complete this, which means you have 4 development cards attached to it, like so, and you had 4 of them, you could sell this, and then you would place it right here, And those two dice, the sell dice and the draw dice, would have a +2 modifier until you sold your next planet. And you might sell this one next, which means you would lose those +2 modifiers. Now, the other symbol you're going to see right here is this little symbol right here. And you will also see this on some superstructure cards over there. This means you get to modify either 1 dice, 2 spaces, or 2 dices, 1 space. And not, you get to actually modify the dice, which can never be undone. So now I could have 2 draw, and I could also sell 2 every turn when it is time to do my actions. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and just pick out a planet. So I am going to go ahead and pick out, I'll pick out this 3. Seems like it'll be nice and easy. I have a red card in my hand, which means I should be able to start it no problem. And I will put it right here. This is where you are going to be constructing your planets. Let's just say the other player took, he took that 4 right there. We'd scoot this down. Actually, you could just leave it there. It doesn't really matter. And now it will get to the second phase, phase 3. I guess that'd be the third phase, actually, because the bidding phase is 1. And now we go backwards. So orange player would do theirs first. So let's just pretend orange player did their thing. And now we get to us, the green player. So we can draw, we can build, and we can sell. And we can do that in whichever order we choose, which is actually very important, especially when you start selling stuff. So right now, I'm not going to be able to sell this planet because I have to have 3 developments attached to it to do so. So I'm going to be able to draw, and I'm going to be able to build. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. And since I have a 1 on my draw dice, I'm going to draw 1 card. And it's not the greatest card to get, but whatever. And then I'm going to be able to build 1. So you know what? I'm going to build right here. And that would be the end of my turn. And that would be the end of the round. So the end of the round, what you're going to do, you're going to make sure nobody has 7 cards in your hand. That is the cap. And most of the time, that's probably not going to happen unless you go crazy modifying your draw die. You are going to put a development card underneath anything that is left out in the buy road to kind of sweeten up the deal there. You're going to check the sell die. Now, I mentioned the sell die, and that's how many planets you can sell on your turn, but it's also how many planets you can have over here in the construction area. So let's just say we had another one over here, which, 1 actually. This would be unfortunate because now we would have a choice. We could either discard 2 development cards, pay a tax, so to speak, or we can completely get rid of one of the planets, including all the developments on that planet. This is extra bad because the planet actually goes into our money pile down here, which is -2 points at the end of the game. So we don't want that to happen. But right now, we would be fine. We would put these out here. The game has not ended because obviously we haven't completed any superstructures and we haven't ran out of planets. So then we would rinse, wash, and repeat with doing the paddle thing, doing all that sort of stuff. So let's fast forward a little bit and let's say we did this blue. And we also did this yellow over a couple turns. So now it's back to our turn. We have just built. We already drew. Let's pretend that. So now we're going to sell. So what happens when you sell? First thing is you're going to take the planet card and you are going to put it over here. This is great. This is really good for us. Those are going to be points at the end of the game. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to see if you completed any of the superstructure cards. So let's take a look at these 3 superstructure cards right here. So this one is going to need you to have a blue, and a red. If you do that, you would turn in that blue, and red from your planet, and you would get 6 victory points. So you just put this down here in your pile. The next one just needs 2 yellow. So we didn't do that, but if you did, you would be able to turn in those 2 yellows and then be able to modify 2 of your dice, which early on might be really good, but at the end of the game, maybe not so good because you need victory points. Last but not least, we actually were able to complete this one, and as you can see, these ones had plus symbols. This one just has arrows. This means these 2 actually have to be connected. This one, on the other hand, you could have blue, blue, you could have yellow, blue, red, any sort of combination of such. But this one, they actually have to be next to each other, and as you can see, we do have red and blue next to each other, so we have completed this one. So we would turn in these 2 development cards, aka just put them in the discard pile. We would also get to modify 2 of our dice, which would be great. And since we already sold this, they would already be 2. We could go 2 from this, and then we could just make our build up to 3. That probably wouldn't be the best idea, but hey, who cares? So then this would also go into our scoring pile. This yellow development card would go into our scoring pile. These would go back over here, and this now flips over. And you can complete more than one superstructure on a turn. So you might not necessarily want to complete it as soon as you get to 3. You might want to go for numerous different superstructures, especially if it's going to play to your advantage. But anywho, you're going to continue doing this, modifying your dice, bidding with your paddles until either all the planets run out or until 2 of the superstructures run out. Then you'll play one more round. Then you will tally up the victory points, and whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game will be the winner of Outer Earth. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, Outer Earth from Mailbox Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody for a couple different reasons. 2 to 4 players, very restricted player count. Also, I wish there was just an extra added layer to the game. And the reason I say that is because the game is repetitive. You're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're just going to be bidding on the planet, bidding on turn order, and then placing turn order, and then getting planets, and then draw, build, sell, and then rinse, wash, and repeat over and over and over again until one of the piles runs out, or one of the end game conditions has been hit, I should say. And I wish there was just maybe event cards or just something to spice it up. It's not a big deal, and I am going to recommend the game. I really did have a good deal of time with it. I don't think that was an expression. I really did enjoy the game, but I just wish there was a little bit more. Also, the theme really doesn't come across at all. You don't feel like you're developing planets or building, superstructures or anything like that. Even though the artwork and components do back the game up, the theme does not come across, which will be a turnoff to some people. Another con that I think some people are going to have is this is a very simple game. There's definitely choices to make, which planets you go for, how many planets you want to juggle, which dice you upgrade. Do you go for a really big planet with a lot of development cards? You just try and do it quickly. There's choices to be made, but it's not a meaty game by any stretch of the imagination, which is going to be a turnoff to some people. That's what I got. I really can't poke too many holes into this game, because moving on to the pros, I really did enjoy Outer Earth. I enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. And I feel like it's a very solid game. I feel like the majority of people who play this game are going to be like, oh, that was a good game. I enjoyed that. It was fun. Is it going to blow anybody's pants off? No, I don't think so. But I think it's a very solid game. I liked it at 2 players. I liked it at 3 players. I liked it at 4 players. It goes very quickly at 2 players because it's just boom, 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 boom. The auction phases don't last long at all. Whereas in the 4-player game, they can last a little bit longer than you might like, especially if you have, say, 3 people put up the green paddle. But that's not a big deal. It really doesn't last that long. I like the strategy in the game. I like the fact it was easy to learn and easy to teach, because it is. It's a very simple game. There's 3-4 phases, and on your turn, it's just draw, build, sell. Those are the only actions you can do. Maybe you can do a little bit more drawing, maybe you can do a little bit more building or a little bit more selling, but it's very straightforward. Honestly, I don't know if I would go as far as to say this would be a good gateway game, but maybe a gateway plus game. I really think if this is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th game someone's played in the hobby, they should have no problem understanding anything that's going on with the game. It's solid enough and cool enough. I don't want to say meaty enough. It's solid enough that it's going to work on a game night if you have a low player count. I feel like couples can enjoy this game. Family nights, yes, definitely. It says ages 13 plus. I would say ages 9 or 10 plus because the game is so simple. So I really feel like this is going to hit a lot of different gambits. But with that being said, the game did blow me away, but I thought it was a good game, solid game, and one that I think you're going to enjoy. So if you're in the market for a solid game that's going to fit a couple different kinds of situations, Outer Earth is definitely one you might want to check out. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know what is the thing that you absolutely positively would want to bring with you if you were going to be on a new colony, on a new planet. Like they're like, all right, you have to bring all this stuff, and you can only bring one more thing with you to this new colony. For me personally, I would bring a solar-powered portable video gaming system like your Nintendo DS or your Game Boy Advance or something like that, PSP, because I love board games, and my first inclination would be like, bring a board game, but then it's like, I could actually make any board game out there pretty much, except for maybe some dexterity games. Like I could make a copy of Dominion, I could make a copy of this or make a copy of that if I really wanted to. But those video games, I could not make them. So I would bring a solar-powered video game system. What would you bring though? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.